All right, let me share my screen. I'm a little bit early today, so I'm gonna give everybody time to get here. I think I will turn off my camera just because I did blur the background, but the sunlight is doing something totally different right now. So I think I might turn my screen off. I'm gonna give some of you all time to get here. I just want to say thank you and God bless all y'all. Okay. Thank you for joining. Today is going to be a beautiful day. Hope you're here to learn a lot as we talk about business compliance in Tennessee. Remember, on Tuesday, we talked about when you actually form your business and you go to get a license and things like that, what that triggers. So today, we're going to talk about if you've already had a business and you didn't handle your administrative paperwork properly, how you can get back into compliance, or, you know what I mean, how you would start over. So if you want to avoid dissolution, um, or if you want to become legally active again and stay administratively ready, then today you will learn a lot. So thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. We're going to go ahead and get started, okay? It's 7:01 here. I know that other people will be joining. If you see me watching two screens, I'm waiting to see if anybody else is going to join on Zoom. All right, so welcome to Eternal Financial Journey, especially to my people on YouTube. Don't worry about this camera right now. Actually, I want to turn it off. That's what I want to do. I'll worry about it in a minute. Um, we'll see. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started, okay? Welcome to Eternal Financial Journey. Thank you to everybody who's on Facebook, who's on YouTube, and that's watching, right? Beautiful welcome to all our new viewers. My name is Nisha, aka Big Nisha, and today we're diving into a powerful session on business compliance in Tennessee. We will talk about Georgia at another time. This is what every owner should know. This is more than just paperwork. All right, so this is important. It's about stewardship. If you don't know anything about stewardship and you're in business, go back and watch videos, right? I'm getting ready to release some pre-recorded videos that I've had since January as well. If you ever want copies of PDFs and PowerPoints, they are inside of Eternal Financial Journey on Facebook. If you're here on YouTube and you would like to be a part of our community, make sure you go over and submit a request. We'll kindly accept you. You're able to download any of the PDFs, PowerPoints, checklists, pictures, whatever it could be. All right, so we're going to talk more about stewardship, legacy, and your responsibility, as well as your kingdom responsibility. So let's go ahead and get started with prayer, and then we're going to push forward. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this opportunity to equip and prepare our people with wisdom and the power of the Holy Spirit. I thank you for leading this session. May every word spoken be rooted in truth, integrity, and excellence. Teach us how to honor you in every area of our business. Help us to steward our calling well and prepare us for increase, intent, without legal hindrance. Let this teaching unlock understanding and discipline. It is written, it is so. I receive in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. And so I hope you all are ready to get started. And we're going to go from there. Let's do it. So, business compliance in Tennessee, what every owner must know. I think what most people should know is that why compliance matters. It matters because of how you conduct your business. Remember, I told you if your paperwork isn't correct, you're out of order. You're out of order. So how being out of order can shut down even a well-meaning business. If your paperwork is not together and your receipts are not in order and your business is not in order, you are not in order. That's disorder. You're disorganized, you're not in order, everything will fall apart. Okay, so let me give you an example. We've seen great people with great products lose their entire business because they missed an annual report or didn't pay a simple $100 tax. Most people who lose their businesses get sued, go to jail for any type of taxes. Their paperwork wasn't in order. All this, you don't have to pay your taxes, and all these gurus telling you stuff, and even they themselves have been in jail. Somebody think it's NASCAR outside. That's what happens, okay? So let me give you some scriptural context, and then we're going to move forward. Luke 14:28. For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost? I just want you all to know, this is why I tell everybody, no matter what you do inside of a business or in life, it has a cost associated with it. All right. So if you don't have insurance, but then the building burned down, now you're going to pay double the cost. You weren't insured. If you don't treat your staff right and everybody walk out and quit, you're going to pay a price for that. If your taxes aren't filed or you're not in compliance, you're going to pay fines, fees, and penalties. If you have money to give away, just give it to me. So that's something to think about. So what does it mean to be compliant? Essentially, it means in order, right? So the basics are paying your franchise and excise taxes, filing your annual reports in Tennessee. Your annual report is due April 1st of each year, and it's $300. Each state is different. California, I think it's like 900. Georgia, maybe 50 to 100. So each state is different for your annual reports. All of them are usually due around the same time, same date. But Tennessee's is 300. Okay. Depending on what type of business you have, that's what we went over on Tuesday. So if you say you're selling food or clothing, you're going to pay franchise and excise tax. All right. But if you're a sole prop, you don't have to pay it. It depends on what type of business you're running, the different types of taxes you would pay. All right. So a real world example would be many people form an LLC and think that they're done. This happened to me. That's why I'm sitting here telling you about it. You just can't see me the best, and it's okay. Um, I'm telling you about the failures that I've had and the mistakes I've made and how you all can avoid it. And even if you have made the same mistake, how you can get out of it today. So make sure you're paying attention. Most people think as soon as they establish an LLC and go file their paperwork, that's it. They're done. They have an LLC. They're in business. That's only the beginning. Only the beginning. And if you're moving too fast and your steps are not ordered, it will soon collapse. You're going to waste all types of money. This is why mentors are very important. Right? So even say your business makes $0 or zero income, it doesn't matter. Your business still must file a tax return saying that you made $0. This is kind of expected for the first 5 years. Okay. So a scenario is Angela started a catering business. She didn't make much at first, her first year, but she ignored filing her state taxes or her taxes. I'm sorry. She ignored filing her taxes. Now she owes late fees and penalties that doubled her initial cost. One thing I want people to know, ignorance and innocence are two different things. And it could be an innocent mistake, but your ignorance, you'll pay for that too. And that's in life. That's with taxes. That's with people. That's with hardship. That's with finances. That's with anything. And my people perish for lack of knowledge. Just because you're ignorant to something, don't mean that you won't pay for it. Yeah, I tell you, it behooves you to be smart. You see what I'm saying? All right. So now let's talk about the types of business structures everywhere, but specifically we're talking about Tennessee. So I'm going to break down LLCs, corporations, you know what I'm saying? I do talk about nonprofits, but I do that separate because that's a whole different beast in itself. All right. And I do like nonprofits better. Now let's keep going. So if you have an LLC, you register with the Secretary of State to form your business and you have to file an annual report. Remember, April 1st of each year. $300. All right. So if you have a C corporation or something like that, that's more paperwork, but the same filings. Okay. Nonprofits, they have annual reports and IRS requirements because they're not taxed. So totally different. So let me give you a scenario. John ran a landscaping business as a sole prop. He's a sole proprietor, okay? John ran a landscaping business as a sole proprietor. When someone slipped on his property, he was personally sued. Remember? Sole prop, you have no protection. So somebody slipped and fell on his property, he was personally sued. If he had an LLC, his personal assets would have been protected. He still would have been sued, but it would have been the business that was sued instead of him personally. And let me tell you this, when people that you know that you have businesses, some of them still come after you because they feel like, oh, you got it. And then they do things like this. So when you have a LLC, say you have a barn dominium or something like that, or event center, and it has a pool, and Becky running around the pool and she slip and fall, even though you had signs that say do not run, danger, something, whatever. They're gonna try to sue you anyway. They can't sue you personally, but they can try to sue the business. But at least you have a corporate veil now. And if you set up and structured properly with your trust and things like that, they won't be able to get to you. But you do have sue happy people. So the point of me telling you about this is, before we keep moving on, is that in biblical scripture, content for this is Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. You have to understand that it's some broken spirited people, poverty mindset people, whatever you want to call it, that they sit up and think about how they can sue people and pull a crackhead Ezell move and holler they neck and they back, even with a sign out. This is why cameras and things like this are important. So when you're set up and structured in the right way, you have wisdom. Wisdom is knowing the difference of what people will and won't do. So wisdom is knowing the difference. If you know the difference in what you need to be doing and the difference in what you're called to do versus somebody else, you will always win. Now, let's keep pushing. I just wanted to give that example. Now let's keep going. What happens if you have a business and you don't stay compliant? So let's say you have a LLC and you didn't pay your state registration fees of $300. You lose your legal protection, you incur penalties, and you risk dissolution, meaning your business doesn't exist. The state will shut it down because you didn't do what you needed to do on your part. Ignorance doesn't mean innocence, and innocent doesn't always equal ignorance. But in a court of law, ignorance is not an excuse. You're still going to be charged. That's like if you went in a different state and you broke a law, but maybe in your town, it was, in your state, it wasn't the case. But then you went to Georgia and it's something else. Just because you're ignorant to the fact, you're still going to be charged. All right. Maybe you'll get some mercy. Maybe, maybe not. So don't take the chance to lose your legal protection. So let me give you some famous people. Let me give you some examples. So Lauryn Hill, everybody know Lauryn Hill. Do wop the bop pop, her. Okay, love some Lauryn Hill. Now, she was sentenced to 3 months in federal prison, not state, federal prison, for failing to pay taxes on over 1.8 million in income. Her gifts couldn't shield her from compliance laws. You can be Mariah Carey around here. You hear me? Everybody love Whitney. Whitney, hey, sometimes she went to jail. But when it comes down to the law, whether you're Lauryn Hill or Wesley Snipes, you're gonna pay these taxes. And when you're making this kind of money, don't you know the more you do and the more you write off, the more you travel and go places, you wouldn't even have to worry about this. You don't have to pay zip zero in taxes if you're listening to what I'm telling you. So Um, Spiritual context for this is Romans 13:1. All right. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities. Jesus walked this earth and he was paying taxes. Baby, you're gonna pay these taxes. Okay? These roads still raggedy. Some of these people might be pocketing it. That has nothing to do with you. You will pay these taxes to be in compliance and to run your business. If not, you will be shut down. Now, this is very important just because. So, if you cannot operate legally, that means you're operating what? Illegally. Why would you give somebody the advantage over you to come sue you? Don't you know contracts are void if you're administratively dissolved or shut down or anything? All contracts are void. People can start suing you personally. You have no protection. Why would you do all this? And when they run your EIN number or your business name, they can check this online. You're not going to get any contracts. You're not going to get any loans, any funding. Everything goes out the window. All your hard work out the window. So just don't do it to yourself. All right. Let's talk about administrative dissolution. Like, what is it? It happens when your business fails to meet filing obligations, aka your paperwork is not in order. You're not paying state fees, your registrations, you're not in compliance. This is why it's important to pay attention to your emails and your actual business mail. They'll start sending these type of things out. If not, you'll have people harassing you. Remember the guy I told you that works for the state of Tennessee, Mark Sales, the most ignorant human being I've ever come across in my entire life. I would have hate to seen him in person like that bad. I think he's a spawn of the devil or some type of demon. I don't know. But he's the slowest talking, unprofessional, uncourteous, like nothing was good about him. He was no help. Okay. But thank God other nice women and certain people tell you stuff. But I was ignorant to the fact that part wasn't his fault. I don't know why he needed to be so rude and nasty and leave harassing messages and all this other stuff. But that's what comes with it when you're ignorant to something. So I'm telling you the mistakes I made so you can change it around and just, what I mean, become better at it. So here's a scenario. Carlos missed his April 1st annual report deadline. All right, he missed it. Now his LLC is inactive. It's not dissolved yet. It's inactive. But since it's inactive, he can't sign new vendor contracts until reinstated. You won't be reinstated until you go pay that $300 fee, and they may just give you a $40 or $50 fee if you do it within the first couple months. As time goes on, it'll get higher. So if you ever in that bind and you missed your April 1st deadline, they usually give you some courtesy up until the 30th. That's up to you. And it'll say inactive. Once it's administratively dissolved, it's going to take more to come back from that. That's usually when that comes from the filing taxes part. But if it just says inactive, you missed an annual report deadline. Okay, so common causes for this to happen is you missed your annual report, or you didn't pay one of those state taxes that you were required to pay, and you didn't report zero. A lot of people don't like to have a registered agent. If you don't have a registered agent, they will automatically put you as inactive. You have to have a registered agent or some type of address on file. Don't do it to yourself. Now, here's the question that most people always ask. How do you know if you've been dissolved? Inactive means you didn't pay something, you can pay it, and it'll automatically change back over once your payment is received to active. Dissolved, somebody had to go in and close it down, or the state shut you down because you've been out of compliance for at least 1 to 3 years. Generally, they started at 2 in Tennessee. They might be moving faster now. So, if your business is showing inactive, all your contracts are void. People can get their money back. There's nothing you can do about it. Keep on top of your compliance and what you owe and stay active with the state. You always want to see the word active. When you see inactive, administratively dissolved, all this other stuff, bad business. All right. Then you'll lose your ability to file contracts. You can't go renew your license. You won't be able to do any of these things because you can't legally operate. So they won't even be able to issue it to you. So in Tennessee, it's $300 a year. That's something you need to be thinking about. Even if you make $0, you still have to file taxes and put $0 for all of them. All right. Um, Here's a quick tip for you that you can keep. Check your business on the Tennessee Secretary of State website. I think it's tn.gov, or just go Google it. Tennessee Secretary of State website. You can go type in your name of your LLC or any business, anybody's, and it will tell you whether it's active or not. That's what, and this is how you can go vet people too. This person wants to go into business with you. You can go there and look up their name to see if they have a business established, whether it's active, inactive, or dissolved. You would need to know. So do your own due diligence. All right. Now, here are some steps to fix administrative dissolution. Right. So if you've been dissolved for any reason, if you pay back fees, update your registered agent, or file, you can go back and file missing reports or your taxes. You can go back in time and zero them out. And these are ways that you can fix if it's inactive or dissolved, you'll be able to do this. So here's the scenario. Maya filed late and owed $300 because Tennessee is $300. But when she added a hardship letter and requested mercy, the fees were waived. So if you go in and they trying to tell you, because for me, they were telling me it was $4,000, like $4,180. And I hadn't made a dime. Like, what are we talking about? And I had to go in and pay the 300. I automatically went back to active. However, I had other issues with state taxes because guess who? I mean, with these taxes, franchise, excise, all these taxes, because I didn't pay them. Remember, when I went to go get the business license, this is what triggers all these taxes to come into play because they don't know you have a business until you go get a business license. So if you have a business license, all these different taxes for Tennessee will be triggered at that point. Franchise and excise taxes, or sales taxes and things like that. Even if you make no money, you have to go in and zero it out and claim zero on your taxes. If not, you can still be administratively dissolved. Don't give yourself the headache. They started making up all kind of charges. I went in. It wasn't with Mr. Slow Mark Sales, but it was another beautiful lady on the phone. I don't remember her name. Let's go with Jennifer because that sounds like a nice name. Jennifer was on the phone and she was very helpful. Whoever works in Chattanooga, downtown, that helped me over the phone was very professional. Then when in person, she was able to help. This is what you do. You can have this waived. Say this, and this, and gave me a nice list. Things that they don't tell you online, things that you wouldn't know. But I've already made these mistakes, so it's going to stop you from making these mistakes. Okay, so some people will be very beautiful, godly people, and some of them just demonic and slow, Mr. Mark Sales. So that's just what it is. All right. And I really hope he's not still working there. I hope they removed him because that just makes no sense. Anywho, when is the best time to start a business? When you can understand what comes with it. Everybody just think, oh, I got an LLC, that's over with. They don't have a business number. They don't have business emails. They didn't think about a website. They're using their own personal address that everybody can look up online and see. When they go see if you're active or inactive, it also tells the address that you listed. So if you have a business address, you're fine. If you listed your home address, now they have it. They can pull up on you. All right. When you understand the tax obligations, you'll do a better job. When you know when they're going to trigger different types of taxes, you don't have to worry about these problems. A lot of the people I know, they go very fast. Oh, I need a business. I need this right now. Go, go, go. And you end up in debt because it's things that you can't see and you don't know. Anytime you're rushing, it never leads to anything good. If you can't focus on one thing before moving on to the next, you're going to be in a world of trouble. This is why mentors are important. somebody who's already failed and then turned it around and now succeeding, you need to listen to somebody and get on to somebody that's already been there, done that, and can tell you steps 1 through 10, A through Z. Because it has to be ordered. If not, you'll pay for it later. Whether it's the headache you're gonna have of doing all this paperwork, or it's the money that you're gonna end up paying thinking you had to pay it, or you don't know who you'll get. Okay. You see me dealing with Demon Mark Sales, or you could be dealing with Angel Jennifer. I don't know. But just don't do it to yourself. You can start at the beginning of the year. It don't matter when you start. If you start after April, the next April you'll pay, you know what I'm saying, your state registration. If you start in April, April 1st, that's fine. You've already paid it. It's still gonna come around. All right. So you're not gonna get over on the government. They're gonna get their money, they're gonna collect their coins. That's part of it. So the beginning of the calendar year is an ideal time to align taxes and paperwork, but it doesn't matter when you start, just as long as you know the steps. So in Ecclesiastes, as Dr. Miles Monroe says, um, to everything there is a season. You know it's a time for everything, right? So the best advice that I could give you if you wanted to listen, don't rush your launch. You need to prepare and pray first. I don't know who can do anything without preparing and planning first. If you're unorganized in your personal life, you're going to be unorganized in your paperwork, your administrative work. If you are, pay somebody else to do it. Pay somebody else to help you be in compliance, because the amount of fees and the things that they want you to do and the amount of headache they're trying to give to you, a lot of people don't want to deal with that. If you know you're lazy with paperwork and you don't like to read and numbers confuse you or whatever it could be, pay somebody else to be in compliance, to keep your business in compliance and help you out. That's what you do. That's what's going to help you. All right. So here's an administrative checklist before launching that can help you. Make sure you have your EIN number from the IRS. Make sure you have a business bank account, because you always want to keep everything separate. Choose your legal structure. Are you a sole prop? Are you a LLC or LLP? Are you a C corporation? Are you a nonprofit? Make sure you register with TNSOS. We'll talk about this later. All right. Make sure you're ready and you have money coming in before you go get a business license. The worst thing that I ever did is go get all this stuff and I wasn't generating any money. I was paying $250 or something like that for address with Da Vinci, and I had one with Regis at the time. I'm paying for 800 numbers, local numbers, making I was set up properly. Everything went to a T until I went to go get the business license and had no idea about Tennessee having 4 taxes. 2 of them are put together, so it'll show like 3. I wasn't selling food, clothes, or nothing, so a lot of these I was exempt from anyway. But I didn't go in and file, didn't have that part of the administrative paperwork together, and it cost me. Now, was I able to go in and change it? Yes, after dealing with this idiot Mark Sales. But luckily, Jennifer came and was a beautiful spirit and was able to help me. And she literally walked me through steps 1 through 10. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have just had to shut it down. So don't go getting a whole bunch of bills, paying for all this other stuff until you're ready. You got your product ready and you're already selling. It ain't too late. You can go back and then you go get your business license. You see what I mean? It's better for you. Um, so I'll give you a scenario. Jared started selling products online without a sales tax permit. The state fined him $500 for every quarter he sold unregistered. I'm not gonna lie to you, somebody been told on Jared. You know what I'm saying? Or they was able to see it. But Jared shouldn't have went online selling anything without a permit. He should have just sold it from his house or gave it to somebody or something like that until he was ready to go get a business license. Start getting you some pre-orders and things like that in first and getting yourself together and going first. So if you're selling food or clothes and stuff like that, you have to have a sales tax permit. You better be smart enough about this. But if you're not selling clothes, you're selling a book or a service or something, you're fine. But you still have to go in and report 0. And if you really are selling food or clothes, put it in your price so you can stop yourself from this. I don't want to be giving the government extra money. Don't make sense. Now, why this matters, all right? Romans 13:1, it tells you how to obey laws. You need to obey them. There's more spiritual implications to stuff than you know. Luke 14:28, it talks about planning ahead. If you don't have a if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So, do you want to plan to fail or fail to plan? Either way it go, don't do it. Always plan, always be prepared. Anything can happen. Set yourself up for success and not failure. Because it surely will come if you don't have a good understanding and the right type of wisdom. Wisdom is knowing the difference. When you know better, you do better. All right. So if God gave you a vision, he expects stewardship. Stewardship, remember, is more managing. What you mismanage, you lose. But if you steward it well in your talents, aka your skills and your money, then you'll be given more. So that include keeping your business legally in order. If you're out of order at home in your personal life, it's gonna be out of order in your business life. Don't slow yourself down. Make sure you train yourself, catapult yourself to success, is what I'm trying to tell you. All right. Here is a simple compliance system, right? Maybe you have a digital folder to hold all your documents. Maybe you have a spreadsheet that says, whether you're doing your taxes quarterly, yearly, whenever they're due, making sure you're filing before the due date. Especially if you didn't make any money, you're just going in and putting zero. That's it. File it. Making sure that you pay by April 1st. You can pay early. They don't mind. Make sure you're checking 10 tap is where you go and they send you all your legal paperwork with Tennessee, TNTAP. All right? Because they send you mail. And it's going to tell you the due date. So if you owe anything, you can go in and fix it immediately. You don't have to go wait. You can hire a virtual assistant or a bookkeeper, somebody that can keep you in compliance. All right. So the best advice I can give you is set reminders for every deadline. A missed $100 fee can multiply into thousands if ignored. But if you're on time, you get to keep your money and your sanity. Your headache's gonna go away. All right. Here's a recap: avoiding the shutdown. If you have a LLC and you're selling clothes or food or something like that, pay the franchise and excise tax. Make sure you keep a registered agent. I think it's like $99 a year. You see what I'm saying? Bills come with it. You need to know this. Know what type of structure you have and which type of taxes you have to pay. Always be active. That's why a lot of banks will ask you, like, do you have a certificate of good standing? They can go in and look at it. They will have your EIN number. They have your business name. It's not that hard to go look you up. And for certain people who doing bad business, if you put your personal address on there, it's not hard for people to pull up. So check your business status quarterly. You don't have to wait the whole year. You can check it every 30 days, every 90 days, whatever you want to do. All right. So the next step for business owners, especially if you want to go in a partnership with people, go look online. Or you want to collaborate. You want to make sure you're doing good business. They should be looking at you just like you're looking at them. You go on Tennessee and check their name to see what type of status they're in. Because you want to know if your contract's are void or not. A lot of people skip going to court because they can see that you're dissolved or you're inactive. It don't take much to just get it fixed. Okay. So always check status, check your status, check their status. Create a compliance calendar, whether you're using the Excel file, if you want to put due dates in your calendar, whatever you got to do to stay compliant. Make sure that you register your business, especially online with TNSOS. You all can Google this when it's over, or 10TAP, TNTAP. All right. If you have a business, you want to be registered there, they need to have your email and your information. You can go in and file your taxes there. Very simple. You don't have to go through all this madness. Okay. So whether you want to create a compliance calendar or check your status online, you make sure you're up to date and doing what you need to do. All right. And you need help? Well, we can talk about it. What I will do after this live is I'm going to go put a document checklist, a PDF in there. So if you ever want to look at it, you have it. You can download it, you can print it off, pull it up, whatever you need to do. Screenshot, don't matter. All right. Can you get state fees waived in Tennessee? Yes, you can. There are different ways to do it. The first and best thing I can always tell you, one, I pray you don't get to talk to Marcel's. Two, I hope Jennifer, Abigail, Bethany, somebody nice around there. Okay. Shaniqua, it wouldn't matter. It don't matter. That's polite, concise, and will help you. I had two very, very nice women, one on the phone and then the one down at the courthouse. Okay. For nonprofits, you can request fee waivers. We'll do nonprofit another time. All right. Um, you can write a correction or a hardship letter. Sometimes they take emails. You can type it in there in the message center. If it's your first time dealing with this and having to do it, they will waive it. It's not hard. You ain't gotta come over here crying and just making up stuff. And listen, Chat GPT, Gemini, Amos, make it up. They got different names now. Use one of them. Okay, it's free. So an example would be Faith is a nonprofit owner. She wrote a grace letter. She owed $200. It was waived after her explanation. I told you they told me I owed $4,180. Waived it. Nobody owes them that. Like, but it was just because of my ignorance that almost cost me $5,000. Craziness, right? Don't waste your money. See, when you're in the know and you know what you can do. And now you know. And if you know somebody that don't know, you should have been inviting them to the group or to the live so that they could know. Yes, that's what you want to do. All right. So it's not over till it's over, and it's not over. So $0 report filing. Remember, LLCs and corporations. Even if you make no money, you still have to go file and say you made zero earnings, $0. Okay. This is why most businesses are inactive. You just need to go back and put a zero revenue. You can prevent future penalties by doing this. All right. An example would be Latasha formed a LLC in 2021, but never made a dime. She just let it sit. She thought she had the LLC. That was it. She filed a zero report and was reinstated for free. And that was in 2024. So I told you, remember, you have up to 5 years. Go do that. Save yourself. Help yourself. Don't go start 10 and 12 different LLCs. Just do better with your compliance and your record keeping and being organized. You just got to go back and put a zero. And long as you're paying your annual fee of $300 and you've never done this before, they're going to waive it. Simple. I just didn't know. I was ignorant to the fact. Somebody here, schooled me to the fact or gave me the knowledge and appropriate. This stuff is not readily available places, and they know this. The state wants you in business. It helps them. So they want their $300 from you every year, okay? Do it. Now, Tennessee franchise and excise tax basics, okay? Remember, even if you don't sell anything, sometimes they can still charge you. At a minimum, for Tennessee, it's going to be $100. Even if you made zero, if you're supposed to be selling clothes or doing this, that, and the other, you're still going to pay $100 at a minimum. And that's due by April 15th. You see how April's the hot month? And just like October, that's the month when you're supposed to actually file your taxes, right, for your business. And then your personal taxes, that's usually, some people file in December, but most of the time, January, February timeframe, anywhere from January to April. You see that? Stay in the loop. This is why it's good to know both. File even if you earn nothing. I know a lot of people, I'm not filing taxes, I didn't make nothing. You're going to be paying fees and penalties, and it's not what you want to do. So file and put zero. I don't care if you do it quarterly. I don't care if you do it yearly. You didn't make zip zero. Put that so you can stay in compliance. And this follows Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance. If you have a business and you're going to leave it as a legacy or to your children or to whomever, or spouse or whoever, do you want to leave them with all this administrative upheaval and with the business collapsing, you didn't pay attention and the compliance wasn't there? Of course not. Cut the crap. Inheritance starts with structure and protection. If you're not structured right, there's no protection. If you can't have protection, anything can happen. You wouldn't put your children outside to get rained on and let lightning come hit them. Don't leave your business like that. It's an opportunity for somebody to come sue you, and then even personally. And if you know, like I know, all somebody needs is the opportunity. And they're gonna strike. Don't do it to yourself. All right. Um, I want you just to avoid these common mistakes. All right. Actually, I might have got a little bit ahead of myself. It's fine. Just the basics. $100 minimum annually for the franchise and excise tax. Due April 15th, like I was telling you. File anyway, even if it's a $0 income. Don't do it to yourself. Now, avoid these common mistakes. You never forget that your annual registration of $300 is due by April 1st. If you're paying franchise and excise taxes, you're going to pay a minimum of $100. Okay. Not updating your registered agent. They will come to you each year and say, do you want to renew? It's usually $99. Okay. They might have went up to $129. Depends on where you got it from. Certain ones you can find them maybe $39 the first year. Okay. Ignoring notice. These notices are not going to go away. It's just going to get worse. Then you're going to have people on your phone like Mark Sales. I'm trying to tell y'all now. Avoid this headache. And usually it's a warning in the beginning. Take care of it now. When you first did, okay, I don't care if you're 2 weeks late or a month. Take care of it. If you're filing your regular taxes and getting money back on your taxes, go pay that stuff then. Be compliant. So a little tip for you, a little tip. Treat your business mail like IRS letters. Don't just toss them. They love to send stuff in mail because they know that people will not read. You're going to read because you want to know that you're in compliance. It could be telling you you owe, if you don't pay this by this date, then these fees or these penalties are going to be incurred. Go pay these people this $300 for this annual registration and go pay this $100 for this franchise and excise tax if that's what you owe. We don't have time to play games. I think I'd rather go pay them $400 a year, and I can write it out. I think I'd rather go pay them $400 a year than them come over here talking about $4,000 and $5,000. I'm not gonna do it. And remember, your first offense, you can tell them that you didn't know you lacked the knowledge, you were ignorant to the fact. Second time, that's not gonna fly. I mean, they might take it down a little bit, but hey, Santa gonna pay, but you gonna pay something. So just don't do it to yourself. So here goes some scenarios that can help you. All right. Maybe you're a group home owner, right? Or you're a multi LLC operator. Maybe you got a lot of LLCs. Maybe you're a ministry in the marketplace leader. I don't care if you was the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. It don't matter who you are. If you have a business, these rules apply whether you're just starting or 10 years in. Once you say you have a business, that is you until you no longer have a business. Okay. So don't delay. File your reports. If you need help or if you've done anything wrong, go in and fix it. If you have multiple LLCs, keep everything separate, include your business, bank accounts, emails, EINs, your filings, everything. Organized. This is only going to help you. Tools that can help you stay on track. Remember, here, as you see, I said, go to TNTAP, TNTAP.tn.gov. That is where you can go file everything. All right. It's okay if you have an IRS login. I'm not worried if you do or don't, because if who upset your business up, you have your EIN number. Make sure you have a document folder and a calendar for compliance where you put all your documents, your digital documents, all your receipts, and then you have a calendar and something that alerts you to tell you that you need to pay. You need to be in compliance. So a little tip for you is create recurring email alerts for April 1st and April 15th. If you don't know nothing about April, tax time. There's usually a deadline for you all and your taxes, and that's the time that your business taxes you need to be renewing and going in and paying. So help yourself. Here goes some questions and answers that some other people asked me. Can I change to a sole proprietorship? Yes, but you will have to dissolve your LLC first. Or if you want to change from a sole prop to a LLC, can you do it? Yes. More than likely, they may give you a new EIN number. All right. Can you restart? Yes, if your name is still available. You got to go look. Somebody else might have came in and swooped down like an eagle and took it. Can you operate while inactive? No, that's why you're inactive. It's illegal. All your contracts are void, your business is void, your finances. You better become back active, all right? Before somebody else learn and figure it out. Be a bad day for you. Um, Here's some biblical wisdom for you. I'm trying to help you. Proverbs 16:3. Okay. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. Whatever you think comes out of your mouth. Whatever comes out of your mouth was in your heart. I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. All right. Honor God through legal and financial order. You know when God can help you better? When you're helping yourself. When everybody say, oh, God is in control, you're in control because you have free will. If God was in all this control that you're talking about, you wouldn't have all these killers and backsliders around here, okay? You have more control than you think. All right. So he in control of you getting to heaven and hell. You in control of legal and financial order. It tells you all these things in the covenants, and it tells you, thou shalt not kill, steal, destroy. Listen, get your stuff in legal order. That's what you do. So disorder in your structure leads to disorder in your results. I can't explain that enough. Disorder in your structure leads to disorder in your results. If you don't have structure, what do you have? If you don't have discipline, what do you have? If you don't have a structure, you're never going to get good results. That's just period. So honor God with excellence. Somebody who made a critical mistake will be forgiven faster because they were honoring God through legal paperwork and they were organized. They paid things on time. Maybe something slipped their mind. They're going to do a better job of stewarding in their stewardship of what they have going on. What you mismanage, you lose. Whether it's time, whether it's talents, whether it's skills, whether it's money, what you mismanage, you will lose. I can't tell you better than that. Okay. Closing steps. Right? Number one, always pray over your business. I beg you to get organized. If you need more help, call the Department of Revenue for guidance and say that you don't want to talk to Mark Sales. All right. File your late reports, even if it's $0. Just go do it. Always pray and steward your business well. There's nothing wrong with praying, but praying all day long and you're not going to go change nothing, not acting on it, that's not going to help you. All right. So that's all I can tell you, but let me go ahead and tell you next what our next topic will be about, and you should be here for that. And don't worry, I'll be sitting somewhere different so you can see me better. Our next topic will be about cycling money. It's going to be about business to business. It's going to be about business to consumer because there's too many people buying and you need to be producing. It's going to be business to government with contracts. And it's going to be about businesses and how they operate with 1099 NECs with your contractors. All right. Because you don't need to be around here just giving out money, even if it's your hairstylist or, cosmetology, whatever the proper name is, paying more than $600, whether you're on Wise, whether you're on Cash App and all these different platforms, they can charge you and tax you for it. Everything you doing, it needs to be business related. All right. So I pray this teaching helps you understand the importance of business compliance in Tennessee, not just to avoid fees, but to steward your calling with excellence. We're going to talk about excellence in about 2 weeks because you need to know it. When we're in order legally, God can trust us with greater increase. You won't receive greater increase until you're doing what you're supposed to do with what you have, what's in your hands, and what you can leverage. All right. So 1 Corinthians 14:40 tells us, let all things be done decently and in order. You didn't get nothing else from today. You should have got order. All right. So in our next session, we'll dive into how money cycles through businesses and why it matters, the difference between business to business and business to consumer, what 1099 NECs, aka contractors, or what the form is, who must file it, and how it impacts your taxes. We're going to talk about how to build international financial systems that help your business circulate income and keep it more uh, legally in order. And most importantly, how to use tools to keep, or tools to build a kingdom minded business that funds vision, purpose, and people. So don't miss it. Be practical, get your finances in order, and stay spiritual. God is light, God is love. I appreciate your time. God bless everybody. And just let me end with a final prayer. Lord, we thank you for this revelation. Help us to walk in wisdom, structure, and clarity. Give us vision, not just for launching businesses, but to sustain them in righteousness. Thank you for this day. Let your spirit guide every financial and legal decision we make. Prepare us for the next level. And only when we're ready and full of understanding as we learn about financial stewardship, management, and circulating kingdom wealth. It is so. God is light, God is love. Y'all be blessed. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. See y'all.